The director of Marvel Studios' Hawkeye reveals why Spider-Man and Ant-Man did not appear in the series, and the official answer is as disappointing as one would expect, unfortunately. So this was from an interview with Metro, where the Hawkeye director Ray Thomas was asked about the idea of having Spider-Man appear, or possibly even Ant-Man, which they talked about wanting that character to originally appear in there. And they kind of just reveal why exactly this didn't happen. And he says that he asked the question, but they just never really wanted to talk about it. It was something that was never really, I guess, plausible is the way I see this. Like, no, this is a Hawkeye story. It's about him. Whatever you might want to do in regards to other characters, keep the story focused on Hawkeye. We are not using these other characters because they're doing other stuff. Can't tell you what, but that's what they're doing. Other stuff. So it kind of makes sense in regards to Spider-Man, especially when you see Spider-Man No Way Home. You're like, yeah, okay, this kind of makes sense. This does work. I'm good with this explanation here. But at the same time, there is the whole deal with Ant-Man. And again, we don't know when Quantumania takes place, so maybe that film will explain it because that film takes place around the same time, which honestly would not surprise me at all. But I think the fact that they said, look, keep it on Hawkeye is one of those twofold things. One, keep it focused on Hawkeye because it has to be, but two, we're not going to waste contracts by tossing Spider-Man or Ant-Man into a gratuitous cameo in Hawkeye that just feels forced, right? Yelena makes sense. Scott Lang showing up all the way from San Francisco, not so much. Spider-Man, plot-wise, well, we know that, right? We know what happens in the film with the whole memory and everything. But at the same time, they reveal that when you sign on to one of these projects, they only tell you what you need to know. And if you're like, hey, what's happening with Captain America during this time? They're like, don't ask questions. Snipers. So I kind of do get it, and it is a bit of a disappointing answer, but ultimately, I think every project we've seen so far, the way they handle cameos does work in its favor, and doesn't just feel forced. And it's one of those things that the further we get away from Hawkeye, the more I actually appreciate that they don't just drop random cameos everywhere because they could, because it just wouldn't really work in terms of what the series is doing and what it's based on and the story they're telling there. So disappointing, but hey, I think it's the answer we all expected. So thank you very much for watching that video, and of course, if you want more additional CBC content, you can find it on our website, where we're typically posting things that we cannot show in videos, such as leaked images from various products and sources, to various other things that we also talk about in videos. So the website is sort of our one-stop shop for everything in a more written and even more condensed format, so check that out. And until next time, have a good one.